Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good morning. Good morning to everyone. Yes, we have some language here that we would like to present to the House as, and hopefully that the House can adopt the Senate version with this amendment, proposed amendment. There is a new section 3, which is on the back of the first page, that deals with one of the objections that was raised during the committee conference process on Tuesday, dealing with domestic violence orders and the protections that would need to be in place for individuals that have these orders. And the next proposed change is on the second page, the third page, which is a savings provision, which states that if, in the event that any of the terms or provisions of this act are declared invalid or unenforceable by any court of competent jurisdiction, the remaining terms and provisions that are now affected thereby shall remain in full force and effect. In construing this provision, a court shall make such ruling in a manner that favors retaining the enforceability of any remaining terms to the greatest extent possible. That is the Senate version of House Bill 1431 that we are standing behind, and we ask that the House adopt our version. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator. On this Section 3, the savings provision, that seems like something you often see referred to as a severability clause. Is there a difference there? I've never seen this terminology before. Okay.
No, not at all.
Mr. Chair, may I?
Go ahead. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I also want to submit an amendment that I've passed out to all the members.
I do believe we're discussing this amendment right now.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure members had it. I will note on this amendment, there have been significant concerns raised about the bill passed by the Senate, raised by the LGBTQ community that have absolutely not been addressed by this. We are still going to be outing children against their will in schools and potentially, sending them into a situation at home that we don't know, may be volatile, may be unaffirming. And I think that this bill is antithetical to all the work we have done in the state to ensure that individuals in this community, in the LGBT community, can live a life free from discrimination and be safe in their own communities. This is antithetical to that, and
I'm sorry,
really
Senator.
sad
we're discussing
backwards.
this amendment right now.
I am, and I am speaking, Mr. Chair, to section. Let's see.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair.
169 1F GF. No, yes, G, excuse me. The right to be promptly notified, and if you skip down regarding the gender expression or identities, right there. That's the part that was identified to us by national and local LGBT community members as deeply problematic.
Mr. Chair, can we finish one amendment at a time, please?
Well,
No, I'm speaking to this
she's referring
amendment,
to
yeah.
this Section G right here. Any further discussion on that? Not hearing none. Any further discussion on any other part of this amendment?
Mr. Chair?
Go ahead.
I will say also, this is antithetical to all the work that the state has done to build a system of care for children with mental health. We have right now an elevated number of children seeking mental health. Just last time I checked, we had 10 children waiting in emergency rooms for care, not able to get treatment. And so now we are going to elevate this problem by creating situations where LGBT kids are scared to go to school, scared to be outed by their parents, and elevating issues we know that are, we know the LGBT community has heightened mental health issues,
Mr. Chair,
and we're going to only make this better.
Yep, go ahead.
The senator is speaking to testimony that we did not get in the committee, and this is something that I spoke about on Tuesday, that all during this process, we have been open and available to individuals. This is a fight that we've already had on the floor of the Senate. And to bring it forward at this point, I think, is an attempt to derail this legislation. And I don't think it's appropriate, but you are the chair and you get to make that ruling, not me. So I had offered potential language, and I would like to see us, discuss this language change. The underlying bill, has not changed. These were just additions that, we heard, especially on the domestic violence, that there were some concerns made by the House. And so we have language here that we would like the House to consider. Thank you.
We appreciate the Senate attending to the concerns of the House. Do you have any discussion?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, I do. There's been information brought forward concerning the fact that some of the employees of a school district may have conversations with children, and those employees are not licensed to discuss these issues with these children. These employees are employees of the community in which they attend that school. The taxpayer is the potential boss or person who pays their salaries. So I do agree that if it is an unlicensed person that these children spoke to, it is not their responsibility to withhold that information from anyone. If a child needs psychiatric care, they need to go to the school's psychiatrist. I like Roman numeral 3 and section 3 that the Senate has proposed to us. And that's at this time all I have to say.
All right, thank you, Representative. Any further discussion?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
I think let's let Senator Gannon have a turn.
Sure. I'll just go back to G because that was what we were discussing. All the parents I know, myself included, parent of 4 public school kids, graduates, and still attending, we want to know what's going on with our kids. I trust in the parents of New Hampshire, unless there's a specific issue that needs to deal with a mandated reporter. I want to know everything going on in my kid's life as much as possible. The one there from cradle to grave. I encourage them the most. The 15 or 20 teachers that are different every year are a different group. They don't have the caring interest. They don't know my child like I do. I'm the one responsible for them. The child doesn't have capacity on his own to give up whether or not he's going to get certain medical treatment. I want to know what's going on in my kid's life. So do the people in New Hampshire. Thank you.
I think so. I think it's pretty clear that when children do need help, their best chance of getting that is when their parents know what's going on. Right? Senator?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I agree. I'm a mom myself. I want to know what's going on with my child, and I work with my school to do that. But the problem is that not every child has a safe home. Not every child has safe parents. I have spent my career trying to protect children, and this is, again, antithetical to the safety of children. And I will note that, just 2 years ago, we amended as a legislature RSA 169C2, and we said that in this is the child protection statute, that we need to provide for the best interest of the child, and the child shall be the primary consideration, right? So this was an important bipartisan move to prioritize the needs of our state's most vulnerable population, and we are going backwards. We know that our LGBT youth are some of our most vulnerable, and we know that not all of them have safe homes. We know that some of their parents are not accepting. We know that many are accepting, but why would we do something to jeopardize the safety of children right now? I also want to say that, of course, I believe in parents' fundamental rights. I am a parent myself. I understand, and I know so many wonderful parents. But this whole bill, there's nothing in here, nothing about the interests of children, nothing in here about a child's right to safety, nothing in here about a child's right to receive an education. And I just fear that the exclusion of any children's rights is going to elevate parental rights over that of children. And I find that so sad and so problematic.
Okay, Senator Carson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think we have debated this issue at length during the House hearing, during the Senate hearing, on the Senate floor. I just can't see to keep debating this issue over and over and over again. And I think it's time for us to make a decision. So,
I think you're correct, and I allowed a little bit of latitude here since there are fresh faces behind the table today. And I think we've had enough at this point. How does the House feel about this amendment? Are we good with it?
I will begrudgingly concur.
I concur.
Yeah, so the House agrees with this amendment.
thank you very much.
Are there any further amendments to discuss today?
I do have an amendment I would like to bring forward.
I guess we will entertain that.
Thank you. So there is an amendment here. This is something that we had, this is not new. This is something we have discussed. You'll see that the amendment has two separate parts. Everyone should have it in front of them. The first one is in recognition of the important parental rights that we have already in state law. And I think that's an important thing to note. Parents already have very clear constitutional rights, statutory rights, and other rights defined elsewhere. And so this amendment requires the Department of Health and Human Services, the Department of Education to collate all those rights into one place, which is my understanding why people wanted this bill in the first place. Collate all these rights in one place and make that available to the public, plain and simple. The second part of the amendment creates a commission to study the parental rights. You'll see that it has broad membership, including parents and administrators and child advocates. It's a more balanced approach because we are all, not only we thinking about parents' rights, but we're thinking about children's rights. And you'll see that all the duties on page 2 of the commission talk about exactly what is in the bill. All these things that people are concerned with, let's talk about it in a thoughtful way. We have heard opposition to this bill from New Futures, from the coalition, from teachers union, from a broad coalition of people, from so many parents. I have gotten hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of parents who are opposed to this bill. Let's explore all the unintended consequences. Let's look at this in a thoughtful way, and make sure we are not harming children. So I think this is a very good step forward, and I hope the committee can support it.
Okay, I do believe we've been looking at this issue in a thoughtful way now for a number of months, and I do believe that all of us have received hundreds or thousands of emails from parents on this issue. Senator?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would like to point out the section dealing with the parental rights guidebook. This was presented as a floor amendment in the Senate. It died 12-12. So this idea was not supported by the Senate. So this side of the table cannot support even recommending this to the House. Thank you.
I'm pretty sure the House has the same point of view. Representative DeSimone, is that correct?
That is correct, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other further amendments that we wish to discuss? Are we ready to take a vote
Yes.
on the bill? Does the House accede to the Senate position?
I begrudgingly accede.
Yes.
The House accedes to the Senate on HB 431 with the amendment brought forward today by Senator Carson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, House member.